All right, so in this video, we're going to go over the bones of the foot. So in each of your feet, you have 26 bones, and they're divided into kind of three groups that we're going to talk about. So we have our tarsals, our metatarsals, and our phalanges. So we have the tarsals, the metatarsals. Meta just means like after or beyond. So these are further away from the center of the body than the tarsals. So they're beyond the tarsals. And then we have our phalanges. Our phalanges. So zooming a little bit in on the phalanges. So we have 5 toes, right? So we have our first toe. Our big toe is our first toe, also called the hallux. The big toe is the hallux. We have our first toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth, and we name the bones accordingly. So we have 3 phalanges in each of our toes except our hallux. Our hallux, our big toe, only has 2 phalanges. So it's this toe's bones are so big it only needs 2 of them. It doesn't need 3. But in each of the other toes, we have 3 phalanges. We have 3 phalanges. We have a proximal phalanx, we have a medial phalanx, and we have a distal phalanx. So phalanx is the singular. We have a proximal that's closer to the center of the body, a medial and a distal phalanx in each of our toes. So we could say the uh, the proximal phalanx of the fourth toe, the medial phalanx of the fourth toe, and the distal phalanx of the fourth toe. We could talk about all the phalanges of the third toe, the proximal one, the medial one, and the distal one. On the first toe, the hallux, we only have 2. We have the proximal and we have the distal phalanges of the big toe. Our metatarsal bones are similarly named the first metatarsal, the second metatarsal, the third metatarsal, the fourth metatarsal, and the fifth metatarsal. One thing to note on the metatarsals, this section down here, this end, is the head of the metatarsal. So we have the head of the first metatarsal is this part of the bone right here, the head of the second metatarsal, head of the third, fourth, and fifth metatarsals. The other side is the base. So we have this little, the tuberosity at the base of the fifth metatarsal. We have the heads of the metatarsals are what make up the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot is made up of the heads of the metatarsals. And then we have our tarsal bones. So we have 7 tarsal bones. These 7 tarsal bones. There's these 5 right here are not going to be as important for this course. We have the first, second, and third cuneiform, the cuboid, and the navicular bones. But we're not going to put too much emphasis on them for the purpose of this course. We're really going to focus mostly on the talus, which is this bone right here. And the talus is the bone that connects to your tibia and your fibula to make the ankle joint. So if we look at it like this, we see this kind of this joint right here. This is where plantar flexion and dorsiflexion happen. So this is our ankle joint where the talus, T-A-L-U-S, articulates with the tibia and the fibula right there. So the other bone, the calcaneus, is this one right here. That's the biggest bone in the foot. The calcaneus is the heel bone, is what it's also known as. The calcaneus is the biggest bone. If you look at it from this side over here, you can see how big it is compared to all the other bones. It's pretty sizable. And this is that part you can feel that kind of like rubs against your sandals, is this part right over here where it attaches or joins with the Achilles tendon. So your Achilles tendon runs kind of up here and then runs into your calf muscles, 3 different calf muscles that we'll talk about a little bit later. But your calcaneus is your heel bone, and it attaches back here to the Achilles tendon, and runs up, and we'll talk about some things related to that later in the course as well. So those are all 26 of the true bones in your feet. You do also have, we talk about these little guys right here. So those are the sesamoid bones. Oh, look at that, they even highlighted them. Those are the sesamoid bones of the right foot. So you have these 2 little bones underneath the head of your first metatarsal, that they don't actually articulate, or they don't actually touch any other of these bones. They're just enclosed in connective tissue, in this ligamentous tissue right in there. And they basically serve as some extra like cushioning and shock absorption for that toe, because this is where about half of the weight that's going through your foot goes through this first metatarsal right here. So it takes a lot more than its fair share, but it can do it because it's bigger than the other ones, as we saw, and also because it has these extra sesamoid bones under here that are giving it some extra cushioning and some extra shock absorption. So those are all 26 bones of the foot, plus the 2 sesamoid bones.